In 2005, director Steven Spielberg brought H.G. Wells' legendary sci-fi novel to life with War of the Worlds, a gripping, action-packed alien invasion thriller starring Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, and Tim Robbins. A cinematic spectacle with stunning visual effects, heart-pounding suspense, and raw emotional performances. This film reimagines humanity's desperate fight for survival against an unstoppable extraterrestrial force. Today, we're breaking down and recapping the full story of War of the World. Buckle up and prepare yourself for an intense journey. We begin with Ray Ferrier, a divorced, blue-collar dockworker in New Jersey, played by Tom Cruise. He's a flawed but loving father, struggling to connect with his two children, 10-year-old Rachel, Dakota Fanning, and teenage son Robbie, Justin Chatwin, who arrive for a weekend visit. Ray's home is far from a welcoming sanctuary, with his responsibilities as a father slipping through the cracks. Robbie is distant and rebellious, while Rachel, mature beyond her years, often finds herself being the peacemaker between them. Their time together starts off rough, but their problems are soon overshadowed by something far greater. As Ray wakes up the next morning, an eerie electrical storm rolls in, unlike anything ever seen before. The sky turns dark, the winds pick up, and the air becomes charged with an unnatural energy. Strange lightning bolts strike repeatedly in the same location, shutting down all electronics in the vicinity. The confusion quickly turns into fear as people gather around the site of impact, trying to understand what is happening. Suddenly, the ground trembles, splitting open as something colossal emerges. From beneath the streets rises an enormous, terrifying alien war machine, one of the first of many to arrive. The towering, three-legged machines, known as tripods, are unlike anything humanity has ever seen. Their metallic bodies glisten as they ascend, and an eerie, unearthly sound fills the air. A deep, resonating horn that signals the beginning of the invasion. Moments later, chaos erupts. The tripods unleash powerful heat rays, incinerating anything and everything in their path. Entire buildings collapse, cars explode, and panicked civilians flee for their lives as the war machines begin their merciless extermination. Determined to protect his children at all costs, Ray wastes no time. He rushes home, grabs his kids, and flees in the only working car left in the area, stolen from a neighbor. As they drive through the streets, they witness pure devastation. Bodies turn to ash, entire city blocks reduced to rubble, and families desperately trying to escape. It becomes horrifyingly clear that the world is under siege by an enemy far more powerful than anything humanity has ever faced. News reports reveal that these tripods have appeared all over the world, decimating cities in mere minutes. Human defenses are useless, as missiles and gunfire simply bounce off their impenetrable force fields. Ray realizes that nowhere is truly safe, but he holds onto a singular hope, getting his children to Boston, where their mother might still be alive. As they travel, tensions rise. Rachel, frightened and overwhelmed, has a breakdown, crying uncontrollably as the sounds of distant destruction echo around them. Ray does his best to comfort her, though he himself is barely holding it together. Robbie, on the other hand, is fueled by anger and frustration, growing increasingly determined to fight back against the invaders. When the military engages a group of tripods, Robbie sees an opportunity to join the resistance. Ray desperately tries to stop him, pleading and even physically restraining him, but in the end, he has no choice but to let his son go. In an emotional and heart-wrenching moment, Ray watches helplessly as Robbie disappears into the chaos, unsure if he will ever see him again. Shaken and exhausted, Ray and Rachel eventually find refuge in the basement of a man named Ogilvy, a former ambulance driver who has been hiding out, waiting for his chance to strike back at the aliens. At first, he seems like an ally, but as time goes on, his paranoia and fear take over, making him increasingly unstable. As the days pass, a tripod sends a mechanical probe into the house, scanning for any signs of life. In one of the film's most nail-biting sequences, Ray and Rachel remain perfectly still, barely breathing as the alien device methodically searches every inch of their hiding place. Soon after, actual aliens enter the basement, their grotesque forms illuminated in the dim light. Their long, sinewy limbs move with eerie precision as they examine the surroundings, unaware that their prey is just inches away. The tension is unbearable as Ray does everything in his power to keep Rachel silent. Just when it seems they might be discovered, the creatures leave. But the real danger remains. Ogilvy's erratic behavior has reached a breaking point, and Ray realizes that he is a liability. In a devastating decision, Ray eliminates Ogilvy, choosing his daughter's safety over a man who has lost his grip on reality. The nightmare isn't over yet. Not long after, Ray and Rachel are captured by one of the tripods, thrown into a horrifying cage where other humans await their fate. They witness firsthand how the aliens harvest people, using them as a source of sustenance. In a last-ditch effort, Ray manages to smuggle grenades inside the tripod. In a heroic moment, he detonates them from within, bringing the colossal machine crashing down and allowing himself and the others to escape. As they continue their journey to Boston, something unexpected happens. The tripods begin to falter. Their movements become sluggish, their once invincible bodies now vulnerable. The reason? Earth's bacteria. With no immunity to the planet's microorganisms, the aliens succumb to disease. Just like that, the war is over, not with weapons or resistance, but by nature itself. Ray and Rachel finally reach Boston and, against all odds, reunite with their family. Even more astonishing, Robbie is alive. The nightmare is over, but the world will never be the same again. With breathtaking special effects, a grounded human perspective, and relentless tension, War of the Worlds remains one of the most intense alien invasion films ever made. It's a terrifying reminder of how small humanity can feel in the face of a superior force, and yet, in the end, life on Earth prevails. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more movie recaps.